So I just wrapped up the first day of Artificial Conference here in LA. And I mean, it was great. I learned a bunch of stuff. I learned stuff about Midjourney that I didn't know it could do. I learned a lot about different things that you can do with ControlNet that I didn't know before. So the information has been wonderful. But the last speaker absolutely blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. So a guy named Bronze Larson, who works out of the office of the CTO at Dell, kind of explained to us the underlying technology of AI, where it began and where it's going. Essentially, the way that AI works now. The technology it works off of is neural nets, which we've been developing since like the 90s. And neural nets were designed to mimic the human brain, which makes sense, but it mimics only one way that the human brain works, because we're really complex creatures. So essentially, imagine a human walks into a room and subconsciously and consciously takes in millions upon millions upon millions of data points, right? And that's essentially a neural net. That's how it works now. Let's say, for example, you have an image generating AI. You want it to be able to generate images of tables. So you feed it 10 million pictures of tables, and that is the training set that essentially becomes the database, that becomes its brain. And now it has 10 million examples of what tables can look like, and what it'll do, for the most part, is borrow pixels from all of them and then create its own version of a table. This is the reason why artists and a lot of people are unhappy with today's iteration of generative AI, because that's what it's doing, though. It's taking bits and pieces of that database, that training set. But essentially, neural nets attempt to mimic human perception, right? So this is our ability to take in all this data and then rearrange it. But Bronze completely blew my mind by introducing what he called third wave AI, which is currently what is being worked on. Third wave AI doesn't operate that way. It is also designed to mimic the way the human brain works, but instead of mimicking human perception, it mimics human conceptualization. So back to the example of the image generator generating tables. Rather than giving it 10 million examples of tables, what if you could just teach it what a table is? You would do this by using conceptual models. And this is actually how humans operate. Once you teach a child what a table is, you don't have to show it images of tables for it to know what a table is. So a table, for example, might only take up 3 conceptual models. You have the leg model, which explains, hey, these can be pretty much any geometric shape. They just have to be 3-dimensional and then set equidistant to each other. And there has to be at least 3, but typically more than 4 is superfluous to create stability for a surface. And then there's the tabletop model, which explains this could be made of any material and it could be any shape. It just has to have a flat surface that's perpendicular with the ground. And then the combined model, which says once you put these legs under a tabletop, this is what a table looks like. And then that table could be any color, any material, any texture, as long as it always adheres to those rules, it's a table. I never even thought of training an AI that way. But if you did, think about it. Then when it generated images of tables, they would actually be unique because it wouldn't be borrowing from a database of trained information. It would understand what a table is and it would just generate a table. You never have to show it a picture of a table. But hopefully you guys find that as interesting as I do. Cheers.